All right, welcome back, everybody. This is lecture 2 of ET120. Lecture 1 was in person, lecture 2 is online. So that's the way it'll go all term. Next week, it'll be the first lecture will be on Tuesday, and that'll be in person. And then Thursday will be online. So we'll go back and forth. So I'm here in my home. And I just want to talk about the first line drawing exercise that you're going to do. So the layout's a little tricky. I'm going to spin you around and show it to you and talk you through it. All right, I have shrunk it down just a little bit here. But you're going to put it on the piece of paper like this, right? And I just shrunk it down so we could get a better look at it. I'm going to zoom in a second, but you're going to lay it out on a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So if it's 8.5 by 11, you have to figure out how to get your 7-inch by 10-inch border on, right? So it looks like you have, an 1.5 inches in this direction. So maybe 3/4 and 3/4, and then 1.5 inches in this direction, right? 3/4 and 3/4. And that'll give you this outside box, right? I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Now, you're essentially going to sketch this. Sorry about that shadow. I don't have the best lighting here, but you're essentially going to sketch this, but you can use a straight edge to make your lines. So, you can lay your ruler down, make your marks, and then use a straight edge to make lines. So it's going to end up looking kind of pretty like this. Before you start to do these 6 boxes, you need to lay this out. So it looks like this is not given height-wise. It is given in the book, and I do believe that it is 3/8 of an inch, but you might want to look it up. It's in the front cover of the book, but it'll give you this spacing. Doesn't look like it's on here. I keep looking for it, but it's not. All right, so front cover of the book, you'll find, or back cover, I could be wrong there. You'll find that dimension, but I think it's 3/8. All right, so once you get this line on, then you basically split the paper into 6 equal boxes. So, measure from here to here, divide by 2, put a mark, draw this line. Measure from here to here, which it says is 10 inches, divide by 3, put this line. That'll give you 6 equal boxes. Layout to our drawings is super important. So layout and planning for all of our projects is super important, but this is some planning that needs to take place. You can draw all these lines really light. So in the beginning, when you're drawing, if I was to come in my 3/4, that's 0.75. So that's right in here. And my 3/4, 0.75, that's right in here. Right, and then I can draw this line in. In the beginning, what you want to do is just lightly draw everything in until you know your layout is correct, right? So I'm just lightly drawing this line in. And I'll go all the way around and get all my boxes, get everything lightly laid out. And then I'll lay out each one of these, maybe just get them started, and I know for sure I have it right. Then I can darken. So usually we darken in the end. All right, let's talk through the layout of each one of these. Some of these are really easy, like this upper left, 8 equal spaces. So just take this dimension, divide by 8, and then, make your marks, and then draw your line. So that one's pretty easy. This one looks like it is supposed to be 1/2 inches. Starting from the middle and then going out. These on the outside may not be exactly 1/2 inch, although they show it that way. You can be suspect to that. If you want to start it in the center, what you do is you just cross the corners, right? When you cross the corners, that gives you the center of the rectangular geometric shape. And then you could go, 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch, and you'd have your 1/2 inch and then 1/2. So then whatever these end up, they end up. Looks pretty close to 1/2, so that's good. So on this one, I'll get it out of the shadow a little bit. They crossed the corners and found the center, right? And then they went 30 degrees from horizontal to lay this first line out. So this line is 30 degrees. And if you have your 30-degree triangle or a protractor, you'll be able to lay that out. But this is the first line. So they, they did their 30-degree triangle in here and drew their first line through the center. Then they went half, 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 half inch. Okay. So do this one first and then go half each direction, 30 degrees from horizontal. On this one, cross the corners, find the center, right? And then they went 75 degrees from horizontal and drew this first line. So 75 is going to be 45. 45 plus 30. So if you lay your 30 triangle on like that, then that is 75. So a combination of the 45 and the 30, or a protractor if you have a protractor. All right. And then, of course, do the center one and then go half, half, half. That's it. Now, this one, bottom middle. Bottom middle uses this half inch and this half inch. So again, cross the corners, come down a half and up a half, and that sets up your first line. Then half, 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 half. This is just the perpendicular line they're using to make their marks on. So again, measure up a half, measure down a half, draw your first line. That angle is your angle that you created, and then the rest stay parallel a half inch away. And then the last box is the same way. Cross the corners, find the center. Now we're going to measure down 0.62 and up 0.62 to the perpendicular construction line. So draw this line, and then we're going to go perpendicular to it. Easiest way to do that is to, just lay a triangle on that line, and that gives you the perpendicular to it. Again, start with the first line through the center, half, 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 half. All right. So there is considerable layout on this little drawing. Once you get it laid out and you think you've got it right, then go for it. Darken it up. So we're looking for black lines, not gray lines. That's a gray line. I don't know if this pencil is capable of doing a black line. Plus, I have kind of a soft surface. So maybe I can this, but I'll show you the difference. I do have a mechanical pencil here, but I don't know what its lead hardness is. So let me just try it real quick. So notice I went over it a bunch of times. That's a pretty good, pretty good black line compared to the gray line here. So this is like a layout line. This is getting to be a thin black line. And now I'll go for a thick. And yours are going to want to be thick. And sometimes with pencils like this, with such a small lead, you actually have to move your straight edge one time or move your angle and get yourself a thick line. Still not getting very thick. So I'm going to try this kind of dull number 2 now and see what it does. I just go back and forth across it and actually give it some pressure. Yeah, that's getting to be thick. It's not perfectly black, but it's pretty good. So if that was your thin line and that was your thick line, I'd be good with that. Okay. In this one, you really only need thick lines. That's what you're going to try to achieve. If we actually put dimensions on, which you're not, you do not have to dimension. These would be thin lines, right? And then do your lettering, practice your lettering, give yourself guidelines for the lettering, right? And, all of this information, this is the date, this is the scale. So this is 1-to-1. We haven't reduced it or anything. This is what we call a file number. So we don't really have that. You can leave that blank. And this is the page number. So I would really like this to say 1 of 1. That lets me know there's only one drawing in this drawing set. I don't have to go looking for another drawing. Okay. So maybe get one of one in here. Your name, this could be lab 2, because I think this is lab 2, right? So this is the drawing name or the lab name. All right, I think you're set. All right, good luck with that. And I will see you all on Tuesday.